Why don't we turn this one off and I'll take one from the table. Still not with me? Here we go. Okay. But the point I used to come to these debates and think, okay, great. We're going to see somebody get up there and say something that's going to change Michael Shermer's mind, and he might come out of here with a totally changed person. Or maybe that people that came here are going to be in that same, they're going to go through a change process, and we can actually see that before our eyes. And I would just like to clarify that I don't really believe that this kind of a dialogue has that purpose, to get people here who are going to change their view. Because actually, if we're trying to get people to a point where we've got a majority, for example, that's already been accomplished, hasn't it? But the rest of you still came here for one reason. You still want to interact with this dialogue. Why is that? Because there's a sense of curiosity, a sense of seeking, that this isn't something that you can set in concrete and say, I have this established. And for that reason, I don't think the purpose is to establish a consensus or a majority. I like to quote from Tom Sawyer when he says, well, hain't we got the majority of people, majority of fools in town on our side, and hain't that a majority in almost any place? The truth of the matter is that you can almost always form a consensus, but the point shouldn't be to form a consensus. I think rather of the quote by Abraham Lincoln when he said, when asked by a Union soldier, do you think, President Lincoln, that the Lord is on our side? And Lincoln said, well, I don't think that the issue here is that that the Lord should be on our side. The issue should be that I be on the Lord's side. Okay? And so that's what I'm trying to find here is an area of truth. You might have noticed with my accent just a moment ago that I'm not exactly a Minnesotan. I'm trying very hard. Don't you know? Yeah. You know, I can do some of those things, but no, I'm just a Kansas farm boy, basically. Now to the matter at hand. What I would like to accomplish this evening, and what I intend to prove, is that there is irrefutable evidence for the intelligence, a mastermind behind creation. And what is sufficient proof, and how will I define it? I will present evidential proof and not empirical proof. Just like Brother Hovind, I don't think that I'm going to stand up here and prove to anybody that there is a God. I'm going to go to a different point in my notes because they gave me some additional time, and that is what I consider proof sometimes may seem a little bit vague. It may involve some inferences. Take, for example, I invited my dear friend Al Binsman to be here with me this evening. And pragmatist that he is, he looked at the price of the ticket. $9.80, he said. What on earth caused them to pick that number? Now, if human beings are pattern-seeking, storytelling animals, $9.80 seems to make no sense. So I gave it some thought. Why $9.80? Then I made up the following story. Since $9.80 on the radio dial is where KKMS broadcasts, it's some sort of subliminal message. Fix your dial to $9.80. You know, too bad it wasn't radio station 580. You know, you'd have gotten a break. But then again, at least it wasn't the Patriot, because what's that, like 1280 or something? Okay. We're getting back to evidence. I'm going to take a first look, and what I'm going to do is to I'm going to use forensic type proofs and not try to prove that he exists, only that his acts are evidence. And from them we can surmise that there is reason to infer his presence. I will prove that God had method, motive, and opportunity, and is the mastermind behind the universe. For our witnesses, I would like to call first, if we let the trial begin, would nature please take the stand? What does nature say? Are God's fingerprints on the universe? Oh, let's not forget the swearing in. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And nature says, of course I do. I submit for your consideration Exhibit A. Exhibit A is the sudden and mysterious beginning of space, matter, energy, and time. Following the introduction of the theory of general relativity, the scientific community discovered that something had gone terribly wrong. If E equals mc squared were true, there was a time when all that is never was. Physicist Paul Davies said, "This singular event represents the creation not only of all matter in the universe, but of space and time as well. What preceded the creation was not just a featureless void, but literally nothing at all." Now for your consideration, I submit Exhibit B. Exhibit B is an expanding universe. In 1929, Edwin Hubble announced his famous law of redshifts as evidence for the expansion of the universe. This expansion is extremely fine-tuned to produce our universe. The value of it is 1 part in 10 to the 120th power. Comparing that to human capacity, our best measuring device can make measurements at 1 in 10 to the 23rd power, which, to borrow from Hugh Ross, would mean that the mastermind is at a minimum 10 trillion, 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 trillion times more intelligent, knowledgeable, creative, powerful, and not to mention better funded than we human beings are. Why is that so profound, this expansion in the universe? Simply put, it gets at the root of physics. Objects at rest stay at rest. Objects in motion stay in motion. We've all heard that before, haven't we? Therefore, something or someone has to act if things are moving in the universe. Finally, I would like to provide nature's Exhibit C. Exhibit C, the entropy or the cooling off of the universe. This fact was announced in 1992 by a team of physicists regarding their findings from the Cosmic Background Explorer satellite, or COBE satellite. The universe was cooling exactly as predicted by the general theory of relativity. Stephen Hawking, known for understatement, said, "It is the discovery of the century, if not of all time." George Smoot, UC Berkeley astronomer and COBE project leader, said, "We have found we have found evidence of the birth of the universe. It is like looking at God." You know, and just out of deference to my brother Hovind here, I've seen that picture and I'm not so sure that it looks exactly like God to me. On the other hand, the reality of this entropy, the cooling phenomena going on, is featured in this picture. Implications. Having considered these evidences, it is important to understand the implications. And there are several. The first is that nothing begets nothing. We know the method of the mastermind. It was the precisely tuned, transcendent creation of space, matter, and time in the finite past. Or in the words of my favorite philosopher and theologian turned 70s pop vocalist Billy Preston, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You see, you got to have something if you want to be with me. Then again, for you intellectuals in the crowd, and perhaps you don't date back to the 70s, I have another argument. That is, everything that begins to exist has a cause for its existence. B, the universe began to exist, and therefore C, the universe has a cause of its existence. Second implication is this, that there's simply not enough time. The implications of a recent Big Bang are catastrophic for the theory of evolution, which needs near infinite time to construct even the simplest life form. If all the material in the universe were converted into the building blocks of life, amino acids, proteins, and if assembly of these blocks were attempted once a microsecond for 17 billion years, the number of opportunities to form a living entity is so small as to make it virtually impossible. You cannot construct life no matter how much time you've been given. And so my particular view may say there's 17 billion years, but there's not enough time. By the way, there needs to be a correction up there. That's 10 to the 1 with 11 zeros after it, not 10 whatever that big number is. It's still a very big number. Is there evidence of motive? I've mentioned we need to prove that. Motive is present in nature too, and that's the form of life. Over 45 parameters of the universe have been identified that must be carefully fixed in value for any kind of conceivable life, just not life as we know it, to exist at any time in the history of the universe. Commenting on a few of the parameters, British astrophysicist